Hi, I'm Chrane. I'm wrapping up all of my Diablo 4 beta coverage right now, and I'm going through all the different classes, posting videos about them, talking about them. Just my general opinion, having played all of them now, all 5 of them. The Druid was my 4th character, since it was not available in the first weekend. Just like the Necromancer that just walked into the room. Right there. The Druid, overall, I really like the playstyle, not the aesthetic. And I do like the aesthetic of the gear. I just don't like the character model. I've made a video talking about this before. I might have made more than one. It is my biggest gripe with this character. I've played Druid in Diablo since I was a child. I've played the Druid in Diablo 2 since 2001, I think, was when the expansion came out. So I might have gotten it in 2002. Not sure. I basically have been playing Diablo 2 since the expansion came out. I never played the base Diablo 2. I did play 1, though, before that. But that's neither here nor there. The Druid, in my mind, has never looked like this. I know there's a lot of people that like the fact that he looks like a... What's the phrase I've seen so much? Like an Icelandic bodybuilder, or Icelandic strongman, I think is the wording I've seen used a lot. While for me personally, he looks like someone who used to be a strongman and then just stopped. That's kind of what I'm seeing. And like, here's the... Do I want to go into this right away? Let's not go into this right away. Let's actually talk about the character first, and I'll end the video with me talking about this stuff, because you're not going to want to hear it if you don't want to hear it. So I'll just save it for the end. So, the Druid. The gearing for the Druid has been very interesting, right? Because I've been playing a werewolf Druid. I've played a werewolf Druid for... Like I said, 20 years of playing Diablo, I've always been a werewolf Druid. That's my jam. That's what I love to play in this. It's my thing. Even in Last Epoch, like, I'm playing the Druid. I can't go werewolf, which is kind of a shame, but the werebear in that is really dope. So that's what I'm playing there, because that's the type of character I enjoy in an ARPG game. So... The Druid has always been the thing for me, and it feels very good to play in this. Again, not a fan of the design of the werewolf either. I think he's too bulky. I think the phrase I've used a few times is he looks like the Hulk in a pelt, while there's other werewolves you can see in the wild called prowlers that look awesome, and I wish that was the model they used for the werewolf form for the Druid. I'm gonna link like a clip from my Twitch channel in the pinned comment to that clip when I talk about the prowlers when they show up on the screen, because they look much better as a werewolf model, and I wish they used that one. Honestly, it looks so much better. But just playstyle overall, the werewolf is very satisfying to play. While it feels a bit on the weaker side right now during leveling content, I hear it's gonna be way better in endgame. Like, it's gonna scale very well towards endgame stuff. Let the violins ring out. It's very loud in my ears. I hear it scales pretty well, so I'm not very worried about how it feels on the weaker side right now. Because I think it's going to even out pretty well when you get access to the Paragon board at level 50. Why did I say Paragon? It's Paragon at level 50. So I'm not that worried. But the leveling experience in this, you feel slightly weak sometimes. You don't feel that squishy because you have this great thing from your wolves, right? When you finally get companions, you have this thing from your wolves where... Their attacks give you fortify, which gives you more defense and stuff like that, which is awesome. when you feel like you're on the weaker side of playing a druid. And sorry, I'm still a bit sick when I'm recording this. Blood Howl, I heard you should probably go Debilitating Roar instead, which reduces enemy damage nearby by 50%, and then you have some good, like, also fortifies you. Slows enemies or heals you. I think I would go with the slow, honestly, because you'd lower their attack, you get barrier, you can hardly see my fingers. I was looking at the wrong hand in the camera. I'm dumb. You get the fortify, you lower their damage, and you also slow them. That's big. So I should probably go that instead of the Blood Howl, honestly. But yeah, the Werewolf Druid, as an old werewolf player, I really like what I'm seeing. It's also fun that they gave him Lacerate, which is basically 7-sided strike from the Diablo 3 monk. But you do it 10 times as a werewolf instead. So it's a very satisfying class to play, even if you feel slightly on the weaker side in the beta. I still really like what I've played of the Druid, and I'm happy about that. I'm really happy about that, because that was my biggest fear going into this game. Just, yeah. I was real scared that the Druid was going to be weak, or just not feel satisfying to play at all. I like how they incorporated poison damage into almost every move of the werewolf build, except for, I guess, Shred. Rabies as a move and stuff like that. It feels really satisfying. It's a very well put together direction for the class, even though it does feel slightly on the weaker side. But like I said, later on in endgame, apparently it scales very well and feels way more satisfying than it does now, which I'm really looking forward to. I think it's gonna be great. I haven't played caster in this on the Druid, because you have a bunch of Earth and Storm moves. I haven't played Bear either, to be fair. I heard Bear was really good. I heard Bear was really strong. That Pulverize is apparently a stupid strong ability. If you go, like... Yeah, if you stack a bunch of Overpower, apparently Pulverize can do some massive damage. And that sounds really fun. I just never preferred the Bear. I always just preferred the werewolf. Because, again, as is with most of my opinions on a lot of stuff in video games and TV, it's very heavily based on aesthetics, my opinions. And, yeah, if... Like, I can have a hard time getting into steampunk stuff, for example, because I don't like the aesthetic of steampunk. But then... one of my favorite, like probably my favorite TV show, period, is Attack on Titan. And I would argue that the maneuvering gear they use in that show is kind of steampunk. So somehow they breached that barrier for me where I got over the aesthetic thing. Like, I gave way for the aesthetic once because of a story well told. But in general, that doesn't really happen to me. If it's something I find aesthetically just not aesthetically pleasing, it usually doesn't work for me at all. Which is where this whole conversation comes from. The whole Druid design conversation. In general, though, with the skills, like when you get down here, you get to actually pick some summons, which is cool. The wolves are pretty nice to have out in the field because they soak up a lot of attention from the enemies. Doesn't really matter to like give them more damage or anything because they don't really do much damage, but having them give you fortify is very big. If you're playing a squishy werewolf, it's very big. It's very good. The Vine Creeper's back, but I cannot destroy necromancer corpses to my knowledge, so why would I pick this? It's the only reason I ever picked the Vine Creeper when I was a kid, because my friend always played a necromancer, and if I picked the Vine Creeper, I could ruin the experience for him. That's the only reason I ever picked it. Ravens are back. They're all like dot damage based, which is physical attacks. So yeah, not many summons here. I'm surprised there's no bear. Maybe it's down here. No. I'm surprised there's no bear. I feel like that's really missing in this tree. But other than that, yeah, it's cool seeing the companion stuff incorporated into the tree like this. But just by looking at it, you can tell it's not a companion-based class to play. Especially when it's this far down, I think. Yeah. Maybe you can pick up a lot of passive stuff and then go full pet build, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like the Druid lends itself to be a full-on companion pet class in this. You have what? Classic Hurricane. The Boulder, which is really fun. The Boulder! Where you can just push people around with a huge boulder. It's really, really funny. Rabies is great to play. Trample is really fun. Just the mobility you get from that is really good. Petrify. Stun people in stone. A massive storm. Go Grizzly Rage. It's really fun. The 7-sided strike as a werewolf in Lacerate. Some cool passives down here that you're not going to be able to get in the beta, just like every other class in here. After being a werewolf for 2.5 seconds, gain attack speed for 15 seconds. Probably pretty good, right? Or this, every 6th werewolf skill crit strikes and deals 60% increased damage. I would have to be counting, which is not my ideal way to play a video game, so I would probably not pick that. Because you would always want to land like your 3rd shred using at the same time as you get this, right? So having to time all that out, I probably wouldn't want to play like that at all. So I'd probably just go with the attack speed. Overall, I like the build diversity you have in here. Like caster, more support based, in earth magic, if you will, more DPS based. In storm, you can go like big damage output as a bear, and you can combo that with earth abilities with some interesting legendary interactions there, where pulverize counts as an earth ability if you get the right legendary and stuff like that. Real fun interactions with stuff like that, and really enjoy what I'm seeing there. And then of course the werewolf, which is what I'm going to be playing 95% of the time that I'm playing this game. It's werewolf is my jam in these types of games. Always has been, always will. What about gear aesthetic? I think they pretty much nailed the gear in general. It's like these two are pretty weak if you ask me, but a lot of this stuff fits the fantasy of the character. You have animal inspired helmets, you have a bunch of horns, have some hoods with horns on them, and just, yeah, just a lot of animal pelts. I expected there to be more like straight up pelts or skins based on the Diablo 2 helmets. Like this is probably the closest we have to one of the bird helmets from Diablo 2. Maybe this is closer to one of the bird masks from Diablo 2. And this is as close as you're getting to the antlers helmets, the moose helmet pelt from Diablo 2. I wish it had the snout and everything. Maybe there's a legendary or unique later that looks like that. I hope so. But this is my go-to. I love the wolf pelt from Diablo 2. Always have. So, like, being able to put together this whole thing easily very early on, it's very satisfying, you know? It's a great aesthetic. Just, it looks cool. It looks right. It's very nice. I'm very happy with it, personally. That almost looks like shaman bracers from Vanilla WoW. Yeah, in general, just It all fits very well to the aesthetic of what the Druid is, you know? Just very well put together. Very well done. I have a lot of pants. That fit fairly well. Yeah, just the design of these things, they just... Oh, hide pants. But it doesn't hide my pants like this. No, just in general, I think the Druid is very well put together clothing-wise. Stuff like this, because it all fits the aesthetic of what a Druid is. All the stuff plays together very well. It's just a pretty good set of gear, you know? I think it all fits very well. You have the, like, this is the one I've been running a lot. I just like the way this looks. But then you have, like, something based more on the legendary gear you can find. I let him go, and I don't know what that bug is, but I'm gonna let him spin out. Poor guy. This is based more on, like, legendary gear. Like, the full bone weave, I think. Except the legs. Yeah. The full bone weave set. Basically, it's not a set. It's just legendary items named bone weave. But it's a cool... You know, this is my preferred look, but then you have something more hardcore in the legendary items you can get to. And then you have the one that they've been using in the marketing, for example. And on that note, like, my biggest issue with the Druid, like, now that I've covered basically everything, like, if you don't want to hear me talk about this again, thank you for watching. You can tune out there. I don't like the fact that they chose to make... As a fat guy, I don't like the fact that they chose to make the Druid a fat guy. I have always been a Druid player, but I don't like the fact that I'm being forced to play a character that makes me self-conscious. I don't enjoy that. It's something I struggle with personally, just being overweight, having a hard time dropping weight, having a hard time finding motivation to do it. I don't enjoy the fact that because I want to play this class, I don't enjoy the fact that I have to play this class looking like this. If you're giving... This is the same thing with the Necromancer, right? If you have a person who suffers from... Let's say they're anorexic, right? Which is a terrible thing for someone to go through. For someone to live with. Like, if you have to live with being anorexic... Like, if you want to play a character in this game, and you love the Necromancer, but the fact that the Necromancer looks the way they do, like, that would be that would get in your head, right? You wouldn't, like, would you want to be reminded of the way, like, something that puts you in an uncomfortable position, that makes you feel self-conscious and feel bad just because you want to play a specific class? Like, these two classes are on the two extremes of the spectrum of character design. The Necromancer is the extreme of being super skinny, like at a scary level of skinny, and the Druid is on the complete opposite side of the spectrum, where some people is like, this is an Icelandic strongman, and I think he ate the paladin. Like, I don't think he looks like a strongman. I think he looks fat. As a fat dude, I think I would know the difference. Like, sure, he has muscles, but he also looks like he hasn't utilized the muscles really in about 5 years and just gone over to eating instead. And it's not a great feeling. Like, when they are on these extremes of the spectrum, just at that point give the option for them to be somewhere in the middle. Like the rogue's body type, for example. The rogue is not built like a freaking superhero. That's not what I'm asking for. Like, the rogue looks like a normal dude, the way he's built. A dude that goes to the gym maybe like once or twice a month. Like a normal person. Like, basically, my ideal weight, like my ideal position to be in, is what I wish I had the option to pick. Like, I'm not saying every character class should have 4 body type options. I think just the 2 ones that are on the extreme, the Necromancer and the Druid, should be given the option to meet in the middle. Just those 2 classes. Because the way it can affect people mentally, like, sure, you have the crowd that appreciates the representation of the way they look in these characters, and that's fair. I'm just not looking for that. And I know that there are a lot of other big dudes and big women who also don't look for that. It's a fantasy game. If you're gonna put me on the extreme with the character, at least give me the option to meet somewhere in the realm of this is a fantasy character. That's it. Like, I'm not expecting them to do this. I don't think they ever will. I don't understand why they chose this. It's just, if you look at the if you simply look at the reveal trailer, what I found today, if you look at the reveal trailer for the gameplay, he's not fat. He's not fat here. Look at the waist. I'm wearing the same gear. But look at the waist. This is the body type he has in all the artwork with all the armor sets that I've been showing in different videos that I can pull up now. Diablo 4 Druid armor art. Should be able to find it from that, right? Yeah, here it is. This is the body type he has in all the arts they've been using for the game, right? So if you look at this, that's the body type in the gameplay reveal is this body type. And as you can see, he's not, like, look at this. Look at the waist here. And then look at the waist in the reveal trailer. It's the same waist. But then look in the game. Why? Like, you have your strongman here for the people who are like, I want the Icelandic strongman look. The lumberjack look. That's what this is. This is him eating the paladin while we're waiting for the game to release after that. And not working out during that time. What happened? Where's this model? Like, I'm good with this. I don't need him to be skinnier than this. Do this. Go back to this. Why did you leave this behind? That looks way better. Like, I don't need him to look like Thor from the Avengers. I just don't want him to look like Thor from God of War Ragnarok. It's that simple. Like, of course it's a personal, like, self-conscious thing. Of course it's based in that. Like, and I don't think that's an unfair stance to take. It's, I don't understand what happened here. Because one of these looks way better. That looks good. Also, the hair looks better in this trailer. I don't know what happened with the hair and the beard and mustaches and all that stuff, because it looks patchy as hell in the graphics in the beta, but we're not here to talk about that. The one we have in the beta looks terrible. I don't like the model. I have a friend that was going to play Druid because he thought the gameplay looked fun. And he always plays female characters. And when he went into the character creator, he saw what the female Druid looked like. He backed out and went Necromancer. Like, I don't want to play as Rosie O'Donnell after she slept in the forest for a few months. Like, it's just, if it's on the extreme of a body type like this, give the option. That's really all it is. Like, it doesn't feel great to look at a character and the only thing you're thinking of is all the stuff that you criticize yourself for the most. That's never fun. Like, I posted my initial reaction to seeing the Druid in-game. I posted that reaction to YouTube. And so far, basically, the entire response I've had to that video is negative, which is expected. I mean, it's in 2023. I'm not expecting people to support someone saying, I don't want to be a fat character, because it's the way the world is. It's not unexpected that that was the response. What I was not expecting to get was a comment. Let me read this. I'm not going to say their name or anything, but like the comment I got. Yeah. It's always the chunky dudes with these takes, lol. I think the Druid looks fine. They don't need a super slim body with the ability to shapeshift. I wonder why it's the chunky dudes who say they don't want to play fat characters. Might be because we are self-conscious of our own weight and our own issues. Maybe. I don't think calling me a chunky dude with a horrible take is a good way to deal with this. Doesn't make me feel good, that's for sure. For just having an opinion and stating it. It's just... Yeah, and people talking about, I appreciate the body diversity of the cast, which is like, yeah, it's fine. I don't want to play a character that looks like a slightly chubbier version of myself. I don't. That's not a pleasing aesthetic for me in a video game. Like, it's not real. And that you can use that argument against me as well. It's not real. Why do you care? And it's like, I have to look at this character the entire time. That's why some people just play female characters all the time, because they look at the character the entire time. I just don't want to look at a moving mountain every step of the way. I don't want to run around and then suddenly be accused of eating the paladin that we never got. Like, it's... I just don't like it. It's that simple. It's not like... I was about to say it's not that deep, but it is kind of like... It is based in like personal insecurity, of course. I don't need to look like a superhero. I think this looks great compared to what we have. Use that. Why do I look like this? This is the same armor. Like, on here, it's around his waist. Here, it's covering my belly button. It's just not it at all. I don't like the Druid design. And it's based on how I feel about myself, of course. But I think that's fair. Give the option for the Druid and the Necromancer to go somewhere in the middle. You don't need to put it on every character, just put it on those two. Because you decided to go this extreme with the design. That's it. Or not even in the middle, just give me this. Just give me that. You had this. You removed this. For this. I don't understand. That looks like a strongman. I don't know about this. I don't want to keep having this conversation because it's not productive. Like, the people who disagree are just going to disagree. Every time. It's not going to matter. So it's unproductive to keep having this conversation over and over. Just my final point. We had this, which looked great with the designs for future legendaries and stuff like that. Some of these I've already seen in the beta. Like this in the middle, we have fully completed except for the pants in the beta. This one. Like, this is based on the body type of the Druid in this trailer. And it looks great. Why did you feed him so much food since the reveal? That's it. Who installed the McDonald's in Sanctuary? I'll find you. And the McDonald's, because I'm perpetually fat. That's the problem. That's it. That's all I have to say on this. I'm done with talking about this. No more Druid talk. No one cares anymore. Gear, great. Skills, great. Playfield, great. The werewolf, too big. Turn the werewolf into the prowler werewolf design in the wild. and go back to the old Druid design from the reveal trailer. That's it.